Thursday night. So there will be some Thursday night NFL football. Tampa Bay at Atlanta. If you listen to the names of it, it's not like, oh, this is really enticing game to watch. But in the division, obviously the Saints started 2-0, now they're 2-2. Big game between these two teams in the division, so that Saints don't fall too far away from the top of the division. Speaking of the Saints, they have been in conversations. There's been some rumors out there. There's a guy out there in Los Angeles playing for the Raiders.
He's not in Los Angeles, coach.
Stop doing that with the baseball.
Las Vegas.
He's a little bit further
Las Vegas.
east, if you will.
Las Vegas, playing for the Raiders. And he has asked for a trade. And the Raiders have said that they are willing to trade him. Now, according to Davante, he's got two teams that are the front runners, the teams that he would like to be at. One, the New York Jets, because he has obviously played with Aaron Rodgers for a really long time. Would love to reunite with that guy, with his guy, and kind of replicate some of the stuff they did in Green Bay. Second team is New Orleans Saints, because Derek Carr and him were college teammates. They are obviously teammates for the Raiders. And the receivers coach apparently and Davante are like super tight. Receivers coach came out before the season and talked in interviews and said that Davante is like a brother, like a son to him. And Davante has talked about how close that relationship is. So there are some ties there. I don't know if that's going to happen. It doesn't matter where Davante wants to go because he doesn't make the decision on who trades him. It's all about the package they get back to trade Davante. So if he comes to the Saints, I think that would be a huge get, obviously. That just kind of, you have Olave, Davante, and Shaheed. That's a pretty good receiving core. Then you mix in Taysom whenever you need to, and then you have Alvin, obviously. So interesting to see. I think the trade deadline is right after the end of the month. October, Halloween maybe, is the trade deadline, end of October, early November. So we'll see what happens between now and then. But until then, let the rumors begin.
Lots of rumors going to be flying in these next couple weeks. Every day that he misses, every game that he misses, every day the hamstring is still not having him out on the field, it's that noise is going to get loud, and I'm here for every bit of it. I think it's going to be impressive.
Yeah, we were watching the after the Rashee Rice thing happened. I was watching it with Tyler Leday, and he was like, "Chiefs, watch out for Davante Adams going to the Chiefs."
That's where I think he's going to go to.
Because it just made so much sense at the time. Where like he's not only a contender, he wants to play good football again, and I understand the connection to. Derek Carr must be cooler than I think because it's the second time Davante Adams has wanted to play with him, and the first time they did it, then they shipped Carr out of town, and he was stuck in Las Vegas with no quarterback.
Yeah.
And obviously he got the big contract and still can play. He's 32 though?
31, 32,
with 2 years left on his deal. And if the Saints are going to do this, it would be you have to negotiate some sort of deal to where you can restructure the contract and figure it out because that's where the Saints can get him under the cap. They have enough resources to do it. Just a matter of do you want to try to continue to win now? Because if you do, you're giving up assets that would help for a rebuild in the future.
Let me ask you this. Could you, and nobody in this room may know this answer, but can you trade for him and then restructure his deal when you get him, mid-season, and turn it into like a signing bonus where it doesn't really...
You would do that during the trade with you would.
That's what I mean. Like they'd have to restructure
some
over
money
there
with the Raiders and be like, "This is," because you would just re-sign him essentially, and so it wouldn't be that same contract. You'd be like, "All right, you're on a 2-year deal. Let's restructure it. Like
to give you more of a signing bonus, 1-year deal, basically."
Here's the one thing we don't think about though, and this is y'all bring up the Chiefs. There's obviously the Steelers who were in this conversation of trying to get Brandon Ayuk, so you got to imagine they've at least or will be picking up the phone and calling. I think about the Jets, and everybody thinks about the obvious reason because of who? Because of Aaron Rodgers, right? But I also think about this. They also have one more ace in the hole in the sense of there's one player that they've been trying to sign that they haven't signed who's still not on the field for him, but they have his rights right now. Hassan Reddick. Do you add him in the trade and now you don't have to give up as much? So I think like when it comes to the Saints, it sounds great, but like you said, he doesn't have a no-trade clause. Even though he probably wants to play with Derek Carr again, or at least that's the word, the rumor that's going out there. It'd be hard for me to believe he'll find his way to New Orleans because of all these things.
So you think the Jets will trade Reddick?
I mean, if we can't get him on the field,
Yeah.
we can't get him in the building, we can't get him signed, how about we put him in the trade, send them off to them. They can go ahead and pair Christian Wilkins and Max Crosby and Hassan Reddick on that defensive line. Obviously, that's a win for them, right?
Sounds
Get him
like
out-
Antonio Pierce's team.
Get
Right.
him out, it sounds like a great move for them. And then obviously you'd be pairing them back with, but here's the caveat to it all is like we talked about, the trade package for the Raiders has to be the most enticing thing that it is, because you got to imagine if there is any kind of sour shit going on, they're not really looking to please Davante Adams, if you will. So it's gonna be a messy one until that trade deadline comes.
There's gonna be a lot of rumors. There's gonna be a lot of conversations.
100%.
Look, I would love for him to get to New Orleans. Even watching him play with the Jets, because when him and Aaron Rodgers played together, it was fun to watch. Problem with going to the Jets is you got to make sure Aaron Rodgers stays upright.
Yep.
Right? Aaron Rodgers has been getting hit. I mean, he was on McAfee today talking about he's got swollen knees, banged up, all these types of things, tough game in the rain, all this kind of stuff. And that's all great when you can have him, you can have Garrett Wilson, you can have Lazard, you can have all these guys that he trusts throwing the ball to, Breece Hall. If he can't stay up on his feet and he's getting touched and he's getting sacked and hit and knocked down, I don't know how much that's going to help bringing him over there. But
I can tell you this: what will help though is somebody that you're so lock and key with, and so that maybe you're just getting rid of the ball that much quicker.
no doubt, that too.
Might help it too. So
That too.
I mean, there's reason to believe that they are strong contenders if there's actually going to be a move that's made here. So.
Yeah. I forgot to mention in the Heineken headline,